All right.
Thank you very much.
So, Barrett, hit me with this matchup. Tokoyami versus Shoji. Feels like a matchup probably not a lot of people have seen before.
Tried yet. Yeah, right. So Shoji being one of the new characters to come out in the Plus Ultra packs for tournament support locally. Form once per turn, you can pick up an attacker foundation from your discard pile by losing vitality. Incredibly strong. The fact that he's a 6-hander and you basically get to become a 7-hander at the cost of your life makes it feel pretty strong, especially because it's selective. The commit ability on his enhance, just damage pump here, damage pump on the next. It's not something to forget about, but you know, sometimes maybe not even worth tapping your character for, instead just to pass a check. Because once you use the form, you don't need to worry about it. And because it's a form, you can only do it on your turn. So he doesn't really do anything on your opponent's turn. In that sense, there's a lot of characters in MHA that I think are like that, where you can just kind of use your character to help pass a check. This being, I think, one of them. But the fact that he can selectively pick something up across evil, all, and life. I mean, 2 of those symbols are staff strike symbols, so you could lose 6 and always have staff strike whenever you need it.
And one of those symbols doesn't exist.
It's funny you say that, because I would agree with you, except one of the cards that is relevant under evil is Relentless Barrage.
Yeah.
Which is funny because you can, if you have all 4 in your discard pile, you can lose 4 to start the chain, to then start losing 2 to pick the rest of them up.
Yeah, I think I was trying to make an evil deck, and it was gonna be it was either, I don't think it was Relentless Barrage, I think it was using Tokoyami's package. But then I realized that the evil symbol only has 2 low block options on foundations, and so
Correct.
I stopped trying. I was like, no chance.
As we can see just from cards being checked, he is playing the life symbol. Very interesting check there, because he's playing reverse throw, which I think is incredibly good. The fact for the character that cuts his own life to pick up selective attacks, you want to pick up something that's also going to always be relevant. And so if I'm going to lose vitality to pick up my attacks, I'm going to make sure this attack does damage. So as he just checked another throw, like there is potentially 8 throws in this deck.
We're good there.
I think that's I mean that's the like surface level. I need to put records on with Shoji, and so I'm gonna do it. And giving your throw accidentally plus 2 damage, and then playing the next throw out of your hand for another 2 damage, like it's worth the pay 5 to do that. Like that, and I think the other, netting you the 5 life back.
Something that we've more recently seen in Standard as well is that there's also just a ton of these high base damage attack throws. So the fact that both of those throws have base 6 damage, it means that adding 2 more onto it, pumping it up to 8 without any other extra help, means that they're each going to do 4. And like I said, like if you had one to start with, but you picked one up with Shoji that cost you 5 vitality, the fact that you're about to guarantee do 8, like that trade with a 29 lifer eventually does pay its dividends on getting where you need to be. Also, the other reason, he's also playing stuff like Wall Cling, being able to block things as effectively as possible. Release that he also built on the board. I'm definitely going to pay a lot more attention to the Shoji list, because he is one of those newer characters. Tokoyami is going incredibly wide here, which is exactly how I like to play Tokoyami. The fact that you're a 7-hander, but you get to pick up a selective card every single turn, turning you into an 8-hander, is like, you can just sit here and play a super good defense game.
For sure. And then prepare yourself to just pop off and just murder this man. Because 29 is Tokoyami does that in his sleep.
Yeah, he can, absolutely. I think it's also important to note, I love that he chose the life symbol. So, yeah, so right here, so just being able to lose 1-2 HP to pick up a foundation that you either want to block with. Note-taking has a pretty good block on it. So even here, or a 1-diff to build at the end of a chain after attacking.
Yeah.
There's also the card he just checked, Recovery Girl's Kiss. The fact that you can Shoji, lose 0 vitality, pick up a card that gains you a vitality. It's not huge, but it's something that can still get you to build wide without having to sacrifice your health. Makes the character work.
And the combo with that and self-sacrifice means you essentially get to gain 1 health because of destroying that Recovery Girl's Kiss, putting it back in the discard pile for -1 damage.
Right.
Like, easy bread butter combos. Love it.
It goes both ways too. I haven't seen it in this list, but Rising Starlit has a ability. It's a 2 difficulty foundation from Momo's support under life that says respond after you build it, gain 2. So in Shoji, you can pick it up for 2, play it, build it down at the end of the turn, and heal that 2 back.
I think you only healed 1.
Yeah, I
card?
think it's gain. Is it gain 1? I don't know.
Pretty sure. We can check. We have resources.
You're right, we do.
Sounds good.
Chat's gonna tell us before I get there. That is their job.
It is gain 1. I
Well,
apologize.
recovery
So
bonus.
again, so you pick up a foundation, build it down for only 1 health. That would normally be 2. So again, it's still this incremental life gain. By picking up foundations, you can, in some theory, think that this character is actually a 7-hander.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's what Phil Birch, another champ, was saying. Is like he's just gonna play Shoji because being a 7-hander with 29 life is very, very strong.
Correct.
Yeah.
So this kind of chain that we're going on right now is kind of exactly what we're talking about. So again, so Shoji did form, picked up a note taking, so he just has the 7th card for the turn. Plays a throw, damage pumps it immediately because his character has used every ability that he possibly can for this turn, and he doesn't do anything on your opponent's turn. Hey, there's the other throw right there. So again, just getting this guaranteed damage, especially on a character like Tokoyami, who's only a 29 lifer. Tokoyami now being tapped, of course, for the -1 damage will eventually go a long way as long as we keep blocking these. He also does now have the ally in the card pool, so back-to-back can help with even more damage reduction. So this is definitely the turn that Tokoyami's like, if I can live here, get Shoji to tap some cards down, we can start counting to 29.
Yeah, for sure. And blocking, I mean, we picked up the action Summon Dark Shadow to block with for free because we're Tokoyami. And it essentially is going to put it back in our discard pile to just pick it back up and get on our next turn. So I'm not even down a hand size as we do this.
Yes, sir.
And Tokoyami's like, yo, you got 12 more. If not, then like I'm kind of set up.
Which as the Shoji player now, I need to also be considering, man, he's really not blocking with these cards in his hand, which means one of these has got to be his ultra rare, right? The one that's just going to set off the entire turn and getting set up completely. He's like, I'm not blocking with these.
We gotta hold high blocks. Yeah, I think you hold every high block versus Tokoyami, actually.
3.
Setup strike. That's a very strong card. I do like that. Seeing that checked there. Obviously not for the check, but it is a strong card. The fact that you can get these high damage throws already, and then you pump them with some extra speed, incredibly good. He is taking the momentum here, and the reason why I think that does matter is, especially in the MHA format, not a ton of cards across different symbols use momentum in incredibly strong ways. So it kind of gets you thinking as the other player, okay, well, what attack could this or what could he possibly be using this momentum for?
Right.
I'm not sure if I've seen anything checked, but I don't think it's just for the setup strike.
No response.
Yeah, we have to assume. I think like being able to play under life and having things like Meteor Shower, right? Like Shoji can go pick up Meteor Shower whenever he wants to, and then start that loop as long as you've got the throw momentum. That's probably how I would play the deck personally.
Right.
Sounds good.
This one
flipped.
I'll pass.
And Meteor Shower's perk, or not perk, I said. So the perk is that it turns your non-attack cards into your hand into attack cards, which is incredibly strong for characters that are really looking for orange stuff, like orange cards.
Take 6.
Shoji also himself being able to specifically just pick one up to start that chain reaction.
Right.
Is a really strong way to put it. The fact that he now has the 0 gravity lift in his momentum means that after that first meteor resolves, he can then send it to the momentum to then pick it up again when he plays a second attack.
100%. It is not possible for Shoji to draw cold. He'll draw at least one attack every turn as long as he has a life to pay for it.
Correct. Now he is eating. So Shoji did just say, I'm going to eat the 0 gravity lift. Now, it being a throw, not a terrible call. But so Shoji is anticipating on taking a lot of damage here, which means we might even see a point where he might not be able to pick up an attack next turn because the meteor showers are coming in from the Tokoyami deck. This being exactly one of those examples. Tokoyami is a character that wants to play incredibly long strings because his action cards let him do it. He has to see those orange cards, though. As a 7-hander, it's great, but this deck has opted to not play the fire symbol. Instead, I don't even know what symbol he's
Chaos.
Chaos, yes. We're playing Chaos, which Meteor Shower being the card to enable that.
Correct. Yeah, as opposed to hopefully drawing 2 off of your cool cards like Latent Skill or the Frigid Heat Wave. We just have, if I can make my Meteor Shower stick, I've got guaranteed attacks just sitting inside my momentum.
A great part
way to go about this idea of a deck.
To blow this foundation up. Give +2 to my next check.
I would also say for chaos in that kind of aspect is like you're going to help pass the checks, right? Like, so even if you look at the Denki Foundation, as soon as he gets that first momentum, he can start snowballing all these different things. The meteor showers he can pick up. If it's the zero gravity lifts. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry about my cat.
It's okay. We love the kitties.
Once that first zero gravity lift hits the momentum after this turn, like as the Tokoyami player here, I'm not even worried if we're not killing him this turn, right? If you get him to a low enough health to where he can't pick up a 5 diff, I think you've kind of succeeded.
Agreed.
And the fact that he hasn't really committed anything except for his character, which is free damage pump. Yep, the fact that he's building right here, I don't think is going to be an issue at all. 23 life though, maybe something more to be worried about. Holding 4 is what it looks like, and Tokoyami is tapped, so there aren't any more to pick up as an extra defense. We've got release. He can block for days, but you know, it could be the simple thing of seeing 7 attacks as the Shoji player with only 4 cards to block with. The Tokoyami player will just be dead.
Interesting we didn't play another attack after playing the Summon Dark Shadow out of our hand, right? Like, the build was fine, but we have so many ready foundations. Like, with...
It would have been free. I think he's actually just thinking about... I think it is just thinking about what happens if he draws 7 orange cards and I only have 4 cards to block with. Like, that's an absolute fear you have to think about as a 7-hander in this format.
That is fair. That is fair. Being only at 12 health, -1 damage is only going to get you so far.
So what I love about here too about the Shoji player is you
Shoji form.
So he built 3 and then decides to Shoji form to hopefully specifically pick up a specific card. You know, as you play cards in the turn, you check more cards, which means you can hopefully find exactly what you're looking for. Doesn't look like he really found what he wanted, so instead he's just going to pick up a really strong 1 diff. Again, I think it's the high block. He really is just going to hold on to that high block.
That's it over there.
Yeah, I mean, especially after that last turn, it was 2 highs and some really impactful highs as well, right?
Yes, yeah, meteor shower on and the zero gravity lift 100%. The interesting part too is I totally even forgot. Like he has the wall cling built, opted to just still take that first zero gravity lift, and I don't know if necessarily just testing the waters in game 1, you know, like giving him that zero gravity lift to momentum, because he could have easily shut it down so that the second turn that's now about to happen could be even not as big as a threat. So it is interesting. Here comes a second zero gravity lift from the Tokoyami player. We've now kind of seen as well maybe a use for the momentum, the gift from mom being built. So some more punches that we have yet to kind of see in this deck. Again, we still have the setup strike. So, but that seems to might be a use for the momentum that he's trying to go for.
Gift from mom plus our character guarantees draws on the throw.
That is true because it will do enough damage.
Yeah, that's sweet. I like that. That's very, very cool.
Walkling. If it's blocked at all, I take
saving the walkling for a more appropriate time. I love that. He opted to damage pump this throw with the Summon Dark Shadow. Last turn we didn't do that. We saved the Summon Dark Shadow until after the throw resolved. And so
I would then still say though, the fact that we enabled that first zero gravity lift to hit, as you see, is the enhanced response right to the wall cling is that, oh, well, I'm going to let this go to my momentum right now regardless. It's going to start that chain, and that all is because we let that first one hit the momentum.
100%.
On a 5. Yeah. Full block.
What's your thoughts on Good Impression?
Good impression.
Yep.
Where we at? Good impression. I think the card's sweet. I think the card's very, very good. I don't know if I love it inside of this deck. It's really great at making your crazy 6 damage Detroit smashes, or 6 difficulty Detroit smashes, not 6 difficulty. It's really good for these big long strings, but it feels like, I mean, this is a throw deck, which feels more like poke build pass as opposed to a string deck.
I think if it was in my head, if it's just like a 2 of in the deck, then sure, I see it being good. Because, like, you know, what happens if you see 6 attacks in the Shoji deck and you're like, these are all 5 diffs? How do I make this turn a little bit easier? Like, that card will do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, so here's the scary turn for Shoji because The zero gravity lift has started. We're on the Dark Shadow Ruin. This thing's gonna hit like a truck. It's gonna start tapping cards. We've already got a card in the card pool, so like we have to now start thinking how are we gonna block these things very well. We do have someone with style, so the stun kind of is negated if he is kind of thinking about it. We also have infinite potential based off of how many high blocks he has. I actually really love that card, and it works really well in the life symbol.
Use its response.
The infinite potential.
Yeah.
I think that card's so good.
So I also under air, there's also very strong high blocks. The fact that it itself is also a high block means that when your opponent goes to play their non-highs, as we've seen from this Tokoyami list, right now we've seen only highs. So infinite potential is more so of a card we should just kind of want to hold on to in our hand.
100%.
But even just from even based off the cards that are built in the staging area, released +2 high, bonds of friendship we held on to 1 to block with +1 high, infinite potential, 1+1 high. Like this has got the blocks to deal with this onslaught.
Yeah.
It's just based off of what's in Shoji's hand, which only you can see.
I
guess I can look at the stream. Oh, here we go.
It'd be a little behind, but yeah.
Plus Ultra, that's pretty good. Oh, he's got crazy blocks.
He does
+1
have
high,
some pretty good
+1 mid, and a guaranteed block on a 5, right?
Yeah.
I guess not later on, but.
So the play that I would have made, and now that you can see hands, I can talk about hand stuff. He has a 1 mid block in his hand right now,
right?
And we should have blocked with that against
the throw, right?
Throw, right? Because we're gonna quote unquote full block it anyways.
The Frigid Heatwave being checked as well for the Tokoyami.
Mm-hmm.
My buddy built the Frigid Heatwave, and that's because that was the other thing I wanted to bring up. The fact that all these cards that we're talking about, a Meteor Shower, Zero Gravity Lift, his own Ultra Rare, like these are all ranged attacks, and so the Frigid Heatwave eventually just can become live. Ice Storm as well being checked there. I love that card. That's your mix-up low, like we were kind of talking about, because everything we've seen has been a high attack that the Tokoyami list has either checked or played.
Speaking of Nutcracker, Ice Storm.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And based off, as you can see on the stream, he does have one in his hand.
Yeah.
So just having these the mix up low, it's probably gonna have to end up being just using that +1 to or they can't use the +1, but you can use the plus ultra, right?
Oh, you can
use
use
the
the
+5.
You could use either because they're not.
Oh, you just can't use the attack. That's
Yeah.
right. You're right. I'm mixing it up with the Shigaraki card, right?
Correct. Yep. Yeah. So this is a 6 damage guaranteed move happening.
Yeah.
And
And he has used the other Zero Gravity Lift on it, meaning it will clear and go to momentum after.
On a
Yeah.
6, 7, 8.
And this is this might be. Could we get this to lethal? There's no way, right? This is 4, 5, 6,
He's
7,
gonna
8, 9,
he's gonna take
10?
6.
Yeah, we can't quite get this to lethal if we even with a powerful 3 off of the Ice Storm.
9.
Be 11.
10, 11, 12 with Stronger and Darkness.
Oh,
you can get it to
you've
12.
Got both Summon Dark Shadows, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, he's got both in. So it does check.
4,
He's got the
5,
1
easy
momentum.
check.
2, 2, so it's 6. Powerful 3, giving it to 9. 10, 11, 12. It's only at 12. It's.
Oh, he's gonna draw.
Digging.
Oh, I forgot.
There's
This card
only-
has another ability on it.
Now there's 37 cards in his discard pile, so I can't check. So we're gonna find out how many cards he draws.
Yeah.
But he's fishing. 16, he draws 4.
Big draw 4. Wow.
What's the rip? Okay. So the Meteor Shower is really nice. I think it might be a little too late in the chain to use it. The Talon, is that Talon or is that Slash? I think it's Talon.
It is Talon. Yep.
Talon is not bad if he can pass it, because it's going to get fast.
These are going to pass. These are going to pass so easy, because these Summon Dark Shadows don't count. He's only 2 cards deep.
That is.
Oh, you're right, they don't count. You're right.
No, because we have the Ultra Rare. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 foundations ready. Yeah, this is a very dead Ojiro. I mean, we don't even have to check 5s on these. We can check 3s.
So here's the play in my
Shoji,
head,
sorry.
right? I think as Shoji, you probably eat this. Go to 4.
I'll go ahead and take it.
And then
Yeah.
hope for a mid.
And if he plays the Talon, it is a mid. right?
I think they're all highs. Yeah, it's a 4
Is
high
it?
for 4. So is the other one, but this will come in for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We're allowed to block this one and force him to play the last one in his hand and just like pray that he's got it. You know? Is this a Fury? It's not Fury. We were hoping for -3 damage off of Bonds of Friendship. We were hoping. So, yeah, there's no way that Tokoyami doesn't go for it here with only one card in hand.
Yeah, for sure.
How
He didn't tap anything on it, so I agree. Like the next one, the meteor shower is only going to be on a 6. It's impossible to fail. He has to deal with this and that, so it looks like it's probably just going to be game here. No taking is not enough to save you here.
So what does Shoji do in game 2 to bring it back to force a game 3? What lines do you think that they would have to play?
Hold every high block that you see. You're not allowed to build them. So like I would say that's probably the biggest thing is yes, we built release, we built the one bonds of friendship. He also built that one infinite potential. So it might just be one of those games where you're really kind of using Shoji form to pick up the selective blocks. Based off of the attack lineups that we've seen from Shoji, he can't do the explosive 20 that he wants if the game goes too wide. He gets to go first. But like we kind of brought up earlier, he's playing a high difficulty curve deck. He's not allowed to just want to play 2 or 3 attacks on turn 2 and not get incredibly punished for it. Because that's exact. Because Tokoyami can easily, especially with these mulligan rules, Tokoyami is allowed to just build 5, hold essentially 4, right?
Right.
Because you get to pick one up with your character if you see the Summon Dark Shadow in your discard pile. Like, you don't get to just try and do 20 damage on turn 2 against him as a 6-hander and not get punished right afterwards. And 100%. So then Shoji's not a 29 lifer. Heck, he's not even a 29 lifer if he has to use the form on that second turn that he goes in on.
Yeah, to go pick up an attack.
So based off of what you've, and I think that's one of the perks about the Chaos line for Tokoyami. As I'm playing a fire list, which is very much more of like draws a bunch of cards. We're allowed to go wide. You can hold on, sculpt until you've seen a really good turn. But like the Chaos list, as you just seen from the freaking Frozen, that drew him 4 cards off the rip.
Yeah.
Like this could just find the cards that you need in the one turn that you need it, based off of finding the ultra rare. So I think Shoji has to go into the game plan of we need to whittle the 20 life down as soon as possible, but we can't overcommit because we'll just do 29 back to us.
Yeah, do you... So people have been talking about possibly letting people go first.
Found the deck builder thing, so I was trying to
we don't let Tokoyami go first because we don't want him to mulligan for Stronger Darkness, right?
That is definitely
so spooky.
Yeah, that's definitely the line, right? I mean, I was talking to you the other day, right, about how, man, think of these characters that are just like, if I find this one card that really sets off this entire turn 2 play, or a card that you really want to build going first, like it's incredibly crazy. So that is that card for Tokoyami. If you're going in, especially even as turn 2 player, so he's going to be turn 2 player here. If I'm hard mulling and keeping for partial, especially, like I'm looking for the summon, the ultra rare, because that's the best turn 2 attack onslaught you can play because it's free.
Yeah. It's very free.
I think the fact too, as we've seen from the deck, is Crow and Frog Takedown. That attack is also very free. Just as a poke, bait something out. But reviewing the Ice Storm, it's probably he might just have too many attacks in his hand. I guess I could look. Yeah, the fact that he has the Meteor and the Summon Dark Shadow on
didn't
top.
Have those. He reviewed and then drew his 2 because he's an 8-hander now in order to get them.
Right.
Yeah, that was weird. Sorry.
I mean, regardless, he'll build 5 if he checks well.
Well, my big thing is we have a Summon Dark Shadow in our hand. We did have it in our opening hand. We could have reviewed that.
And
one. And then we can
not
just
risk
go
the
pick
gamble.
It back up with Tokoyami if we absolutely want.
You're right. That's fair. That's probably 100% the play. He did build a back-to-back, so maybe it's like...
I guess
I want to block with the first one, then maybe find a second one. Like,
I will.
if we
form
failed one of these
oh,
checks and did have to commit our character, we did lose our ally, right? And so like that's
form
a really defensive play. But the question is -3 damage better than Breaker 2? That's the question.
Cover Girl's Kiss for 0.
Breaker
No.
2 and -1 damage, right? Because of Tokoyami.
Yeah, that's fair. No, I agree. Yeah, the Ice Storm with Breaker 2 is incredibly good, especially if the game plan for Shoji in this game is kind of what we talked about.
I'm going over there today.
And the fact that he built 5, he can potentially pick up the Summon Dark Shadow.
Yeah, there's too many
I
attacks
only built
last time.
4 compared to my
Really, you said
opponent's
that
build
one.
5. Like, it's definitely,
Just didn't live long enough.
as you can see, Shoji from building here, like, it's going to be an uphill battle even going first this game.
Yeah. We did build out one of our only high blocks in our hand, which is interesting.
Right.
I think on turn... Yo, what the heck? 1 for all, full Galley, 5% strike?
Go ahead.
Excuse me, Shoji? Excuse me?
I mean,
I'll pay
it's
5,
good.
go find myself a new hand?
Not gonna lie, it's kind of
That sounds rad. Wow.
What, Tam
that was
and Barrett
cool.
were saying.
Okay.
Well, it's been on the other side where I just listened to them.
Dude, I cannot. I love going back and watching the VODs and learning.
I mean, I don't get me wrong. I love this card. I really do.
Oh, yeah, I can't.
The I love
you're good,
specifically
man.
just for the
Doing all
enhance
good.
that if it's not blocked, commit your opponent's character. Now,
Yeah.
irrelevant in this matchup, I
Very
will
much
say.
so. Hey, if you don't
But
like this, you'll get better.
discarding your hand for 3. I'm trying to think if there's a scenario or something we're going for here.
I think it's actually just like a Hail Mary of pay 5, go find 3 fresh ones, right? I draw so dead that like, and he's at 3, right? I don't have a throw in my discard pile, but I've just cycled her in my deck.
They're
right?
in your deck. Okay. Yeah, I think that's very fair. I will say that kind of game plan and that kind of style is that is a you're preying on a dream there because like you've got to be so built because that's another 5 diff, just like we were talking about. And the fact is, you're not going to play that until after you've played the other attacks in your hand, right?
Yeah.
So you're maybe playing that thing on an 8 and on a good hand after you've already played the other cards in your hand to then draw more to try and play more gas. Like that is I'm not gonna lie, that's a pipe dream in MHA right now. Like. So I love the idea of it, but it almost feels like it could be something else to enable this kind of game plan or play style for this deck.
We had a question in the chat of how the second player review then draw the extra card works. It is you ready, review, draw, just like as your normal turn. So you would have your starting hand size, in this case Tokoyami 7. You review down to 6, and then the rule is you draw an extra card. You draw your hand size +1, so you would then draw 2. So you get to hand fix even further. As we saw, discard an attack, draw 2 attacks. It happens, but we could have drawn 2 foundations off of that and like lived the dream.
The best way that I've kind of described this too, because there's a ton of people, and I think even a ton of questions on the Facebook pages of what's the order of things that happen for readying cards, or can I do this? Can I see my cards before I ready? Kind of stuff like that. I think the most important thing that I tell my newer players is just go with order of operations. Always remember it is ready, review, draw. It is always that order. And so when you ready your cards, you have the option to discard 1 card. Then you follow the game rule of draw to your character's hand size. The only added thing with the new beginning of the game, what's I guess rules or procedures is as second player. I don't know the exact wording, but it specifically says draw 1 extra card. I don't know if it says up to. I don't know if you're allowed to say no.
You are allowed to say no. Yep.
Okay.
They made that was very clear. All Might 2 or All Might 3 would love for you to draw that extra card.
Yes.
Like,
no.
I'm getting an
Yeah.
extra
Give me that
speed.
extra stat. Now you can't swing an attack turn 1, but whatever.
Yeah. Yes, for sure.
But if you always remember, you ready your cards first, then you can choose to review as long as you didn't go first, and then you draw, and then you follow the extra game state rule. So as a 7-hander, I can choose to review, go to 6, follow the procedure, draw up to my hand size, which is draw 1, and then I draw an extra card. It will always make sense. And whenever you have a card ability that affects something like that, it will always make sense if you, as long as you remember it's always ready, review, draw.
As Shoji here, We're at the cusp of deadlock so much so that we like
any
kept
response?
3 or 4 foundations in our hand because we were afraid of an
If it
aggressive
deals
turn.
5 or more,
We're
I guess.
afraid
He
of
did build
deadlock.
self-sacrifice. So I think he built 2 of them actually. So like self-sacrifice is the card that lets you bubble on deadlock.
Why are we not just paying 5 to go pick up 2 throws and just like start chunking him?
I think it's because I think he's afraid even after that first game. Like, if he cuts himself to even 24, it's just making an easier time for the Tokoyami
I'll
player.
pass.
Like, I look at his hand.
His
Look at
hand,
Tokoyami.
his hand is scary, but if you take and you threaten all that damage against him, he's got to block with stuff, right? Like that's him getting rid of.
Yes.
You get rid of one card out of his hand, right? And then he can't do it. I guess we have. I don't think we've gone and got a Summon Dark Shadow. Oh, he drew a card?
Shoji form?
He drew a card
What
because
did
he didn't block. He opted not to block. He wants to keep his hand so bad.
Wow. Okay.
A release. I like that card.
Yo, go grab a high
Pay
block.
0, pick up.
Pay 0. Go stop 20 or 12 damage. I'm in. Oh, we gotta quit checking attacks. We for sure should have jammed the kisses to gain our health back up, I think. Did I unplug my headset? You're talking and I can't hear you.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I definitely unplugged my headset. Okay.
Okay,
Say,
you're
say
good.
all of that
Strike
again.
enhanced, my next is 3
I mean, tapping the 0 diff Aoyama Foundations is not that big of a deal. As we've learned, Bonds of Friendship doesn't really do anything in this matchup. There's, I think, 1 Fury attack, right? I think the Ultra Rare is no, maybe it's not. I don't think there's any Fury attacks.
Yeah.
So you're right. Definitely should have gained the life because then you can just tap face downs and it feels better. Also, you want to blow them up with the self-sacrifice as we kind of talked about for the quote-unquote -2 damage, right?
Yeah.
So yes, it's a missed opportunity because now he doesn't have the
will
E
flip
flip
the kiss.
because
Get away.
it's extra poke, threaten our opponent to block these cards once again. I mean, it looks like he just E'd the card, right?
Good.
He
I want
E'd
another
the Summon Dark Shadow to guarantee pass this, or he's
Yes.
gonna save it and block the next thing. I think that's really cute, actually. So he plays a setup strike here, says the next attack gets 3 speed. This is something really cool about for higher level UFS and universes, making your opponent bait out effects. He could just not play an attack. The Tokoyami player's like, I want to keep the +3 to my check for the attack that's gonna get 3 speed, but it just wasted the card out of his hand.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's not that big. So now we did Shoji enhance here, which is very much a read of like I'm playing another attack.
So I don't know if you can see his hand or not. Do you see the
Yeah, I
attack in
see it.
Shoji's hand?
Yes,
It's a
and
flash
the fact it is a flash. So once again, though, it's just like the Tokoyami player will probably eat this then, and then he still has the +3 to his check, so the flash doesn't even really matter.
Will you
If Shoji eats this, do you play the move or you just pass? What do you do, Barrett?
Let's see. Setup strikes for 4, 6. It's for 6 right now, right?
It's for 7. It's just a 3.
It's a
high for
5?
Yeah, 3 high
It's
for
5 ace damage. Oh
Yes,
my
sir.
gosh. Okay.
Yes,
We're-
sir.
Okay. All right. Okay. So the fact that we've used DR has now told me as the Shoji player. Whoa. Okay. Never mind. He's not eating it. Okay.
Wow.
The Breaker 2 is probably the deterrent.
Oh yeah. Now that we're getting combo breakered, it's over. I stopped playing moves altogether.
It did still deal half though. As a Shoji player, I think I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, for sure.
I would for sure try and maybe still build a 2 diff on a 6 even. Like I would probably still do it. And if
Well,
it fails, it fails.
You build the release, right? You build the release because
No. You need the high block. You know you need
those
the high
two,
block.
those 2 discs are highs. Yeah, someone with style is.
Delaware's
Whoa, he's going for it. We checked a 1
let it
on
fail.
our 6.
No. It's a. Oh yeah, for the breaker. Okay.
Need 6. So I need 5.
God, 6 base damage
Please.
flash. What is that nonsense?
Please
Okay.
don't commit.
You
5
fail it.
foundations.
Yeah, you
Okay,
definitely
cool.
fail it.
I was very nervous.
You definitely fail it. You take you whittled Tokoyami to 13. You have 5 cards in hand to defend with. I think you feel good as Shoji here. You gain 2 momentum this turn. Like I think you take it. Like
I agree.
I get it. You just wasted 3 speed and 2 damage on that attack that was coming in, but I agree. I think you take the 7 damage you dealt. Look, Tokoyami has to attack, right? Because of all the orange cards that he said. If you survive this onslaught as Shoji and you just rip into even 1 or 2 orange cards, the fact that you can pick up another one, I think he can win this game.
I didn't want those good checks.
Yeah, this is gonna be one.
It's gonna be hard. It is. It's going to be hard.
And I think he's got to play it perfect.
Because I mean that is
Ramen,
4 high
all live
attacks just in
matches.
his hand, and we have to consider that Frigid Heatwave may give him more.
If you are interested
But,
in
I mean,
playing
like we
today,
said,
exclamation point fight me, and me and Barrett will
Hold every
commentate
high
over
block
your
that you
games.
have, and he definitely has the 4 of them.
He's got 4, and he's got the spicy low block in case the ice
For
storm comes in
the
as well.
no, you're right. I mean, he definitely thought about holding on to what cards he went. That might have actually been why he slammed the attack, right? He's like, if I check hot, I get to cash in this damage, but I don't want to play these foundations because I want to block for them. So I mean, that might have been the play, and sometimes that is actually just how the game deals you your deck.
Yeah, for sure.
It's very much the controversial idea of like how you can't play attack cards, right? Sometimes in universes you just want to play the attack to get it out of your hand. That actually might have been one of those examples. Yes, I got Breaker 2. But it's going to come in with some fat stats. Like if I check a 6 here, maybe it's worth tapping 2-4. But I get to hold all these incredibly good blocks for. Whereas if I play a block, I could just die.
Yeah. Love that play. Self-sacrifice, one of the committed cards to bring it back down to an even number. So when we block it, it doesn't poke over for that bonus. Right?
Pretty good. I do like it.
We're to take 4, not 5 here, which, I mean,
6.
We're saying Tokoyami, you have to do 29, and I've got 5 cards in my hand.
Now that's the hard choice. Like tapping 3 for 4 vitality is one of those like. So the thing about this game is that it's very incremental, right? Is tapping 3 foundations to save 4 damage at the end of this string after what we're about to see. At the end of the day, was that worth it? And I actually think that play of tapping 3 for -4 damage was actually maybe the play that might make him lose this turn.
I completely agree. And that's kind of why I wanted to build the release to guarantee that I get to play my entire hand of blocks. Because if I did check bad, I mean, checking a 5 there, right? But destroying one of those foundations is way better than tapping all of those. Like we'd have had to commit 1 foundation, not 4 or whatever, not 3 or whatever. Yeah, it's certainly a rough spot to be in.
Yeah, and I will say using self-sacrifice and release in the same kind of enhanced phase feels kind of rough.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because it's like, oh, I want to take 1 less damage from the throw, but I also want to add +2 to my block. Like, it's pretty rough. So there's the stun. So like, again, like it's that like the fact that he tapped the 3 earlier is gonna make it really rough. +1 block
5, 6,
on it.
7.
It's pretty good.
Check a 5. Still fails.
Nope. Oh,
Yep. Can't pass it. Eating a lot.
Oh, you're good. I knew the
It's
odds
11,
of checking
right?
a 6 in this deck were really not good.
What? That's not true. He plays plenty of 6s. I actually think he plays all the 6s he can play.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was the damage on that? That was 1.
He can check a 6.
Oh no.
All right. Fat. All right. So here's my thing about Frigid Heatwave. I think this card's incredibly good. I mean, just go look at its price online. But
I just had to go by 3 of them. It sucked.
Yep. So he drew the cards. Great. Drew kind of dead, which is good for Shoji. But here's the thing: this attack can now randomly just get really big.
Yeah, man.
With no
Hey,
taking
you thought Dark Shadow Ruin was 11 damage? We hit 3
sounds good.
attack cards. It's also 11.
No one hits for me, so go ahead and finish everything you got.
Okay, we'll mill 3 and give it damage equal to the attacks.
Lucked out.
Wowzers.
Very lucked out. Wow.
Draw
Favorite
3
number.
gray. Mill 3
3.
gray.
3.
Check an attack.
There's an attack. 2, 3,
Love it.
4. Or yeah, 2, 3 because these ignore. Yep.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't destroyed one of our foundations to commit that self-sacrifice for the minus damage. Destroy my foundation and make sure that all my moves do max damage is like
7 high for
kind of important. At the same time, all of his moves are way too fast to even be potentially.
Or you're talking about the
No way of
frozen. Is
passing
that
it.
what that is?
So we
Why can't
either
try
have
and fail a
frozen,
block?
that can
Hey, look
make
at
my
that, they did
opponent
it.
commit one. They
or
choose,
the discard the momentum, right?
or shock treatment says destroy, and I get to commit and destroy one of yours.
Oh yeah. Well, you could even just use the momentum one, right?
Mhm.
So, like, oh hey, you have to tap one, or no, it's still selective, right?
Yeah. So frozen, they get
Both
to pick,
are.
and then on shock treatment, both that you get to pick. Yo, kids, this card's insane versus Kirishima. You get to shut down coordinated effort.
Sounds good.
It's needed. Play this card. I'm begging. That
Yeah,
card's
shock treatment's real good. No,
Yeah.
if you're not playing shock treatment like me, because I'm bad, then yeah, you should.
cracked. Yeah, I've got one main boarded, one sideboarded in my
So you're giving
my
us some
No,
Chakra
for
deck
sure.
at the moment.
Stone,
Hey,
right?
other things too. Not seeing a lot of
Before
Hey,
it
what's
happens,
Denki Face?
minus
What's
one
that card
damage.
called?
Charged up?
No,
Do you
that's
mean
the
requesting assistance?
2/5.
That seems fair.
No,
It's served.
Dang.
the Denki Face. When he's overloaded.
Oh, short circuit.
Yeah, short circuit. Thank you. That's
Yeah.
another one. I think I'm not seeing a lot of people play that card right now, but it does just shut down like actual bombs. Just side them, guys. Like, please just side them.
Just side 'em.
You don't need them every game. But
Yeah,
like,
I've got one in my sideboard just because sideboard room is so tight in my deck.
all right. So here we go. How fast
The
is
plus
this
holes
gonna
are pretty
be?
good for that one.
6. He just told him straight up he got a plus
Yeah,
holder in
thanks
his
for
hand.
man, for
That's
teaching me
it.
the ropes. That was
There it
fun.
is.
Like we said, the onslaught
Sorry in
was
advance
that
to,
was gonna be
Tam
it.
for
Again,
holding so quickly,
I
you might not
like
be
right there is where I'm
good.
saying like he's at 7 vitality. If he had it tapped to the 3 to be at 3 instead, and you have the 3 foundations up, you block that last attack and he would have lived there. So it's just like
Yeah.
I know that's hindsight, but tapping 3 foundations for -4 damage on the first attack of a string is one of the scariest baits you can see even in beginning universes. I'm not saying that it's one of those things to where like yes, 4 vitality is a lot in hindsight, especially in a deck that can do a ton of damage.
Nice, I do.
But it like that trap right there is definitely what sets the dominoes up. It even gives your opponent that sense of, oh, I can do this now because he tapped 3 cards, right?
Yeah.
So it really goes a long way, and I think that was maybe the only thing I saw for that turn. But I really think Shoji could have had that game if not for that one thing.
I agree completely. I think I mean, and the whole point to do this is hindsight, right? They'll
Yeah,
get to go
absolutely.
back and go catch the VODs. And fellas, can you hear us?
I can now, but I missed the advice.
Perfect. Basically, it was just blocking that first throw, and you went to block it. You checked your 3, and then committed your 4 foundations to attempt to block that. And it would have just been 3 extra damage if you would have saved your block for later in the turn and kept those resources. You know, Summon Dark Shadow Ruin does like 1,000,000, and so what's like taking 8 versus taking 12? Like that's such a big difference, and you were guaranteed taking damage from that attack anyways. So.
Because like you even knew, right, going into that defensive turn, like we were talking about it, man, your hand was stacked for blocks, and
Very
it like
much so.
we look and like I was just like this guy is set up for like a amazing defensive turn, and like the damage was coming because we saw his hand for Tokoyami's. But you tapping those 3 cards right there, it was just like, man, I feel so rough because I feel like that decision, tapping 3 for -4 damage. That decision can affect the entire rest of that turn, and that's where the only place I thought I was like, man, you would have lived that just from that, because then we could have seen you back swing him and then like take it to game 3, and that would have been amazing.
I appreciate it. Maybe next
Yeah,
time I
no,
can remember to do that.
Honestly, dude, I love the list, dude. I was gonna say this earlier in Tam, but even just what you've like got going, like I love the amount of spam foundations you're playing because like I think that's exactly how you make a character like Shoji thrive. I love the throws, man. Like it adds his commit. What everybody's kind of saying is like why is this enhanced even on this character? But like +4 damage across 2 throws is really good, and you kind of you really showcased it. So I think regardless, what people are gonna see is like the fact that you've now shown people these tools for a character that we haven't really seen out in the open yet. Like you got some really great ideas here, man. I think it's really cool.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Valen, I think your patience in not attacking and holding good, waiting for good strings was really good.
Thanks. I feel like I've gotten a bit better after getting smashed by y'all a couple times.
I will say too, because I play Fire Tokoyami, as I was kind of saying before the match. But you're playing Chaos, and you're definitely taking the strengths of Chaos and like proving even to everybody like why Chaos is a good symbol for Tokoyami versus playing Fire that a lot of people think is what would be like the mainstay one. Like the way that you played Chaos is exactly how you take the strength of it though, and I thought it was fantastic. You're playing all the great cards for it. Meteor Shower, like you didn't even get to showcase it, but you didn't need to, right? I think you actually even just showed off the strength of playing cards like Zero Gravity Lift. In characters like Tokoyami is just really strong.
Zero Grav with the Summon Dark Shadows is so good.
Is that the sideboard Shoto Todoroki for it too?
Absolutely.
My man, dude, I love it. I've got a Tokyo or a Shoto Todoroki deck that Bromley was playing the other day that I really want to play. Like, people are sleeping on this character, but he's actually incredibly good against Kirishima, and it's crazy cool.
I found that Fire Tokoyami has to draw really well to beat Kirishima, but with the extra like control you get from the Chaos Foundations, you have a bit more like ability to tap him out and stuff.
Absolutely. No, 100%. No, for exactly like what we were talking about. Like, he plays the shock treatment, he plays the frozen, like having those tools, like you get the frozen under fire as well, but like there's less options, right?
Yeah.
Fire is definitely more explosive, as it should be. For symbol identity, Chaos is definitely one of those niche ones right now, but Tokoyami is definitely a character that can really take advantage of it. I thought it was great. I love how even in game one, you built on the second term, which I know a lot of people love just going in, and I play Tokoyami. I love going super wide with him, and so I really loved that. I thought you played it great. It was really good to watch.
Thanks.
All right, fellas, I'm gonna see if we can get 2 more people in. If you want to jump back in the queue, please feel free to do so.